Arriving in a new town and making new friends is hard. Andie Young made it easy. Being a military spouse, you move around a lot, and making new friends is somewhere on the list between finding a dentist that takes your insurance and where are all the local grocery stores at. When I first moved to Spokane, I searched Instagram hashtags on all the local clubs of Spokane, and not talking about those types of local clubs, communities where people could meet and form friendships. And that's how I met Andie. Even before I put my best foot forward in a DM, which is like an email or snail mail for you older folks, Andie came back to me with multiple meeting times as well as a few great local coffee shops that we could meet at. And that's Andie. No questions asked. She probably didn't even look at my profile to check and make sure I wasn't an 87-year-old man. Not that that's a bad thing, but, that was her. After we met for coffee in December of 2018, I started going to her community gatherings called Gals That Brunch. From Casper Fry to book clubs to the restaurant that just closed by Auntie's bookstore, I don't even remember the name of it, Andie would call ahead and ask about the tables when she considered where we would be having brunch. Are they round? Are they open? Are they inviting? Can we be loud? Andie loved good food and good wine, but what I think she loved most are the people who surrounded her when those things happen. Good community, good friends, and good people. And that's what she created wherever she went. Andie and I often had talks about the difficulties of being new in town, being that we were both military spouses. And what Andie saw when her and John moved back to Spokane is a way to fill that void and a way to make that difficulty of finding new friends a little bit easier for the next person. Andie encouraged me constantly, supported me like no other in my business and as a friend. Some words that come to mind when I think of Andie are vivacious. She had a presence about her that was fun, loud, but also safe, like a guard or that protective older sister. Andie was exactly what this world needed, and that's why this sucks so bad. Andie never left anyone out. She didn't vet people in order to come into her exclusive club. She created a belonging where friendships were fostered and then bloomed. She was the type of person who saw someone and would give them a look that said, "You can eat here at my table. You belong if you want." Glennon Doyle writes about different kinds of friends, telling us that we should aspire to become more like horseshoes when it comes to friendships. She writes, "If you are standing with other women in a circle and there is a woman standing alone in your circle's vicinity, the thing to do is notice her, smile at her, move over a bit, and say, 'Hi, come join us.' Even if she decides not to join your circle, even if she looks at you like you're crazy, inviting her is still the thing to do. Widen your circles all the time. Also, horseshoes are better than circles. Leave space. Always leave space. Horseshoes of friends over circle of friends. Life can be lonely. Stand in horseshoes." And Andie did just that. Andie wrote a post once that I kept. I screenshot so I could refer back to it later, and I think we could all use this reminder. Andie wrote, "You will not be for everyone. That's okay. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't have to. You'll make some people uncomfortable. That's not your issue. Be unapologetically you. Always have good intentions. Learn from your past mistakes. Don't internalize the behaviors of others. We are all experiencing our own journeys, overcoming trauma, and meeting parts of ourselves that may feel uncomfortable. Don't excuse poor behavior, but understand that it has nothing to do with you." Andie once called me a breath of fresh air in a society that has so many clones. And now looking back on that, I believe that in talking to me, she was speaking of herself. We all knew Andie, and when we were around her, we could let our guard down a little more, dance a little more freely, and breathe a little more deeply. I love you, Andie. May we meet you when we see a rockin' martini on the menu, a hilarious coffee mug that is not only funny, but also has a cuss word or two. And may we meet you when we see something that looks like it's horseshoe shaped. You're out there. You're in us. With all my love and gratitude that I got to experience you. I love you, Andie Young. You made my life better for being in it.